Hi, I'm Justice from Pong, and I'm going to be doing an analysis of the iPhone app Unblock Me using the Edge framework. This puzzle was made by Kira Games for people ages 10 and up. The objective of the game is to move the red piece out of the board through the opening on the right by moving the other brown pieces out of the way on any given puzzle. The learning objectives include prior knowledge, likely to learn, and transfer. As this is a puzzle game with blocks as the pieces, this is heavily spatially oriented. Basic reading, spatial, and problem-solving skills are needed. The first tutorial of the game shows players how pieces are moved by giving instructions. Uh, Also, a background with computers, tablets, or smartphones help. This game was used in a classroom setting in Zambia, and it was noted that those with these skills adjusted much more quickly to the game than others did. Much like Zombie Division, this game helps the fluency of the main skill it requires by using the skill so frequently. Here, the game promotes the fluency of spatial skills. An example of this in action would just be playing the game. And to go deeper, it'd be imagining the new board layout before a move is made. Fluency in problem-solving skills should transfer as players will go from trial and error techniques to strategies just like planning by simulation or reverse engineering to find the optimal solution to a puzzle. Also, perseverance should be a transfer as well because some puzzles are hard and require a lot of thought and time before beating it. A review from Common Sense Media says kids can learn how to solve complex spatial puzzles using prediction, strategy, and, on some puzzles, larger doses of patience and perseverance. For the MDA part of the framework, we first have mechanics. The important game mechanics would be moving the pieces, the range of difficulties the puzzles can have, and the 3 different modes. In challenge mode, there's a star rating out of 3 a player gets for each puzzle. Also, a puzzle has a move counter and displays the minimum number of moves a puzzle can be solved in. And finally, there are a limited number of hints that show the player every move to solve that specific puzzle. The spatial skills are seen through moving the pieces, and the transfer skills are seen through challenge mode and an appropriate difficulty level for the puzzle for the player. The player will strive to get the 3 stars or the minimum number of moves they can make to beat a challenging puzzle, and to do so, they will have to use and develop better strategies than the naive trial and error one. And some puzzles will be too hard, but that's where the patience and perseverance will come into play. The strategies that the players come up with themselves to help them solve the puzzle at hand are the dynamics because they are developed and thought about during the runtime of the game. Also, the frustration that arises as players cannot solve puzzles will test their patience and perseverance. This game has challenge as the main aesthetic, but others include sensation, discovery, and submission. Challenge mode helps players want to improve their rating on particular puzzles. For sensation, when a puzzle is beaten, a congratulatory sound is made. There are about 15,000 puzzles for a player to discover, and this game can be played during leisure time. The game supports variability, as there are almost 15,000 puzzles to play through, but it does not support good feedback. The only feedback a player gets is when they beat a level, it just says, "Good job," and "Here are your stars," and "Here's how many moves you made." The hints don't provide any feedback either, because it just tells you how to beat the current level. So my 2 redesign ideas for this are actually helpful hints and a story mode. Helpful hints are meant to help players strategize instead of giving them the answer to a puzzle. And if they are completely stuck, they can request up to 3 moves to be shown to them, but at some cost. If players need to use this mechanic, this will help them strategize and be patient and persevere, and it will decrease the challenges and puzzles that they're just too stuck on. This does not affect spatial skills in any way because you're actually just trying to solve the problem. This will also provide a sort of feedback to players by linking them with helpful instructions by asking questions while highlighting the blocks in question to promote spatial contiguity. On the left is the original. In the middle is the current hint system that just solves the puzzle for the player. And And on the right is my version of a hint, which asks a question to try and get the player to think about which moves should be made and why, and then highlights the high-profile block. Story mode would be just like challenge mode, but it would use a hero for the red block and villains for the tan blocks. Imagine a Mario storyline where the evil Bowser kidnapped Princess Peach, and the hero Mario needs to save her by getting past the villains in the last puzzle. Obviously, all 15,000 puzzles shouldn't be in the story, but to make it interesting, you'd have the hero travel through different parts of the story's world, and after a few levels, maybe provide a cutscene to describe what's happening to the characters and to show a setting of the current puzzle. This would greatly increase the perseverance dynamic, as players would be more engaged and more encompassed with the game. It would also create a narrative aesthetic without harming the challenge aspect of it. Their learning objectives also wouldn't be modified, and this adds more of an interest learning principle than before because of a player's preconception about the stories in general. Here are my sources. Thanks.